In this video we're going to change the interface, our app. So we're going to do two things. We're going to change the title here of the app and the title that will appear in the app menu. And we are also going to add a button here that we will push in order to shake atoms. So let's do this. I stop SAMSON and I go to my source code and the form folder and the SE atom shaker app GUI.ui file that I open with Qt Creator. Okay. So here I have my window and have this label that was added automatically. I remove it, I press delete, or I right click and I say delete here, and I'm going to add a push button that I find here. I drag and drop and I put it here in the center. Okay. So it's good practice when you have multiple buttons, multiple widgets, to give them more specific names. So I like to keep push button, but I'm going to add shake in the name. Okay. So push button shake. Then the second thing I need to do is to add a slot to my app. So I right click on the window and I say change signal slots. So a slot is a function that's going to be called when an event will be when a signal will be emitted. So I click the plus icon here and I say on shake atoms pressed. I say OK. And now I'm going to add a connection between the press signal of the button and this slot that I will program in my app. I click the plus icon here. I say that the sender is the push button. The signal will be the pressed signal. It could be clicked or pressed. I like to make it pressed. The receiver will be the class itself, and the slot will be on shake atoms pressed. Okay. So I'm going to modify the label of the button. I'm going to say shake atoms. Okay. So that's it for Qt Creator. I just save everything and I exit. So now I'm going to begin to modify the code. In the source code we can see that there are two main headers and two main CBB files. The two headers are the two classes that are used to describe an app. So we separate in SAMSON between the functionality and the interface that allows the user to access the functionality. So you should put the functionality of the app in the class that derives from SBD app, and you should put the functionality related to the GUI, the graphical user interface, in the class that derives from SBG app, and typically the generated name ends with GUI. Okay. So it's in this GUI class that I need to add my slot on shake atoms pressed. Okay. And you can see here that I have a message from the SAMSON element generator which tells me that I should add my slots here. So let's do just that. Void on shake atoms pressed, and I'm going to program this function in the GUI. So let's put it here. Void SE atom shaker app GUI. Okay. So because we want to cleanly separate, because it's generally good practice, cleanly separate the app from its interface, we're going to just call the shake atoms function from the app that we're going to program. So get app shake atoms. It's not yet programmed. Okay, so I have an error because it's not yet declared and not yet programmed. So I go to my app now, and I'm going to add this function, void shake atoms. So again, you might think that this is a bit cumbersome, but the general idea is that we separate the functionality from the interface. So now in the app file, I add this function, which does nothing for now. Okay? So now I need to finish setting up the interface by modifying the looks of the window of the GUI. So I have several messages in this CPP file from the SAMSON element generator, some pro tips that tells me where and what I should put in the functions. Okay, so for example here this tells me that this function is supposed to return the path to the icon, and if I want to modify the icon I should go to the resource icons folder and modify this icon here. Okay, the default icon of an app is the SAMSON logo. If I want to modify the name of the app to give it a user-friendly name, I modify this getName function. Okay, let's call it Atom Shaker. Okay, then here I can specify the format of my window. Let's forget about savable and resizable now, so I'm just going to say no options. Okay, so I install the app, and I'm going to start the debug version of SAMSON again. And I should see the modified version of the app, which will not do anything right now. I will click on the button, I will push the button, and nothing will happen. But I should have a user-friendly name, and the function should be called at least. Okay, so let's test just this. So now if I look in the app menu, the app has been moved because all the apps are ordered alphabetically. So you see that the name has been changed, and I have this shake atoms button. I cannot resize the function anymore, and there is no disk here to save settings. Okay, and if I press, nothing happens. Okay, so we have modified the interface of the app, and now in the next video we are actually going to shake the atoms.